All right, so I got tired of waiting, so I'm going to give you a hint for how you can speed this up. I hadn't thrown away my plunger yet, and I knew pressure would help. So, you know, I still have some solution up there. I just put the plunger back in, and I don't know if you can see this, but if you push the plunger, you add air pressure, and that causes the solution to drip out. So this is the impatient chemist's approach to accelerating filtration. I've got my isopropanol here, fresh out of the freezer, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. So I gave you a tiny beaker, an itsy bitsy tiny beaker, and the purpose of the itsy bitsy tiny beaker is if you take your vial and put it in the itsy bitsy tiny beaker, it is harder to tip the dang thing over. This will tip like anything. That's a little bit more stable. So the itsy bitsy tiny beaker is a chemist's approach to keeping things from tipping on you. So first, I'm going to take my filtrate and transfer it into my little vial. Now what I want to do is very slowly and carefully pour my ice cold isopropanol so it sort of layers on top, and I'm just pipetting this in very, very carefully and slowly against the wall, well above my solution. It took me a long time to empty that one pipette full. And so now it's basically 2 layers. Hopefully, if I am lucky, after about 2 minutes, I will be rewarded with a little bit of white DNA precipitate across the top of this. But even if I'm not, it will, in the week in the fridge before we go into class, precipitate out. So I will be able to isolate DNA from this, even if it doesn't immediately precipitate at the interface, which, I mean, frankly, it's kind of cool. If you're ever teaching a class or doing outreach or something like that, this is a great lab to excite students. Strawberries are a good source. A bag of frozen strawberries from the store isn't too expensive. And if you are lucky enough to get the DNA to separate, you can wind it up on an unbent paper clip. Just, you know, bend out the outer ring and leave the inner fold there. Stick it down, spiral it, and you can actually wrap DNA around a paper clip, which is an impressive demo. But anyways, I'm going to let this sit for 2 minutes, and hopefully I'll get some DNA precipitating. If not, it's going in the fridge for the next week.